because at the end of the day, you are representing for a part of our community that isn't often represented, not just for women in power and women that have a voice, but also for women that live their truths unapologetically. And that message in itself is so powerful in the turning of the times, in the arenas that we're navigating, especially and in politics. So just watching you go through that and seeing what comes with it, I got to tell you, from me to you, the admiration is out of this world. Okay, if I didn't admire you before that, I think that newfound respect for watching you traverse an avenue as that, especially in a male-dominated arena. Girl, I don't know how you did that, but I gotta ring that cowbell for you, Queen Mary style one time for the one time. Okay. I'm telling you, it was so profound because you never know who you're inspiring or how. And a lot of times people are just looking to see how others show up in the world so that they can get permission to show up for themselves as well. And I know not just for myself, but there are countless others who I know just in watching, they're like, you know what? If she can live in her truth, if she can be herself, no matter who's watching or who agrees or does not, then I doing that too. Okay, so the message is that you know, and the inspiration that the impact that you have on our community is truly profound. And before we even get into the meat of the interview, I just needed you to know that. Okay.
I appreciate it. Thank you. So humbled by it. Thank you.
Absolutely. So talk to us. Since that time, what have you been up to? Because I saw you speaking a little bit about, you know, schooling and your dad and whatnot. What have you been doing? Have you been actually just working towards building yourself?
I took a break actually in 2020. I thought about it. I was like, hey, when politics is done, what do I do? You know, when I get older, and I should be a professor eventually at some point.
Oh, wow.
So I returned back to school to Gonzaga University, where I got my master's degree from.
Okay.
And I returned and I applied actually right before the pandemic. And I got accepted to the doctoral program. So after losing the election in 2022 and not returning to the Senate, I actually pursued my doctoral studies full time. So that's what I've been doing. I've been coaching volleyball, as you know.
Right.
And continue to give back. I write for the VA Source. I give lectures across the nation, you know, when called upon. And it's been a time of like respite, a time of self-growth. And then when it was last year or so, I made up my mind. I'm like, hey, you know, it's time to come off of this water break, re-enter the race, and actually contribute to the Virgin Islands again in the capacity that I know how to contribute.
Oh, man. I ain't gonna lie. Watching you sit down for a little while and going to school, I was nervous. I was nervous because, listen, very few times you come across leaders that aren't afraid to really lead, regardless of what that looks like. However, you know, when you see, okay, the election didn't go the way, you know, we may have wanted it to, right? However, for me, just sitting back and saying, okay, so now what happens with a senator or, you know, an individual who's in a position of power? And what is the next step for that? And you see the different things that comes with it. And I would have sat down and said, you know what, I don't have time for this. So I didn't know if that's what I was. And I know you got somebody on it that probably feel the same way. But it was like, I said, well, God, now look what you do. She done with we now. So it's good to hear you were doing the necessary things to really build yourself, to grow, to really nurture all that, you know, empowers you to be who you are in our community, you know, and sharpening your knife so that you could come back even better than before.
Yeah, because I mean, home is home. I have this undying love. I tell people all the time there are times that I am in an abusive relationship with the Virgin Islands because, like, you know, in the 2022 elections, as you witnessed, it was quite brutal. But that didn't stop me from loving home or understanding or looking at the potential of home and what it could be.
You're right.
So for me, people probably already know that my entire formal education is in political science. And so is my doctorate degree right now. And as such, what better way to serve the territory and actually become engaged in the civic part of it, you know, because politics is a discipline. Contrary to how I know it has its bad, it has its corruption,
Yes.
but I've lived politics. I understand the impact of good public policy. I
Right.
understand the impact of bad public policy.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, that's where my gift is. We all have our gifts. And I'm like, hey, the territory could use me again. I have something left in my tank, so let me return.
I so love that. I got to ring the bell for that. She got something left in the tank. You hear that? I'm ready for it. So, guys, we're going to talk about what's in the tank right now because we are not just getting ready for an election year. This is a gubernatorial election year, which means a lot of major changes are going to be taking place. And you ain't sitting this one out at all. You're back in the run-ins. And this time, you are doing it on a different playing field. One that I am eager to see how it rolls out because I genuinely feel like whoever sits in this position in this capacity needs to have a lot of the personality traits and leadership qualities that I think you possess. Okay, so let me see from what I've been seeing so far. I'm gonna start with the quote that I hearing all through the grapevine. The school children them saying, "Send her to the hill."
That's where I start.
Oh man! So talk to me. What is the driving force behind this? What made you choose this as an avenue, for your next step in your career?
A few things. Actually, when I served in the Senate, I chaired the Committee on Disaster Recovery, Disaster Recovery and Infrastructure, and I chaired the subcommittee on energy as well. And I realized through disaster recovery that we had this unique relationship with the United States. Of course, as you know, we're a territory of the United States, but we were locked out of, the Affordable Care Act. We had all these consent decrees happening.
Right.
There was some bottlenecks with the disaster recovery. We had roughly close to maybe $20-something billion. It was kind of hard to access it. The federal government wanted this cost share that we couldn't afford.
Right.
And of course, I serve also as a liaison to Congress in the Senate. And it was just interesting to see this relationship. We were neither fish nor fowl with the federal government. So that's one. And then two, understanding the impact of our federal status within the Virgin Islands. I have first-hand knowledge. I was a primary source of that. So that would be part of the influence. And the second half of it would be my doctoral studies, because my dissertation is entitled Democracy Denied, the Democratic Deficit, and the Fight in the U.S. Virgin Islands. So I study this disenfranchisement and the impact of identity on Virgin Islanders based on the insular cases,
right?
The consent decrees, the fact that you're Army vet. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
And you're good enough to serve. Yeah, thank you. My dad is also one too.
Yes.
Vietnam War vet, and they're good enough to serve on behalf of the country. You guys
Right.
are, but not good enough to vote for your commander-in-chief. And then being a non-voting member of Congress, and as I continue to study and become so immersed in the theoretical part of it, along with my lived experiences, I'm like, we probably need some representation on the Hill. And then I knew Stacey was running, was running for governor. I discovered that, and I'm like, hey, the Virgin Islands really needs authentic leadership.
Right.
I grew up in the Virgin Islands. Dad is from St. Croix. I've traversed all three islands. I understand the uniqueness of each island, their struggles. And for me, I contemplated it, and I had this nagging feeling all the time, like, it was like God talking to me, go back in a race. I was like, where do I fit, And I didn't want to go to Government Hill at that time. I didn't want to go to that hill. So I'm like, well, let me think about this a little bit more. Let me pray on it. Let me sleep on it. And I was like, hey, I think I'll be best suited for Congress. So I talked to my team. I got the blessings of my mom and my dad, my close friends and family. And here we are to the Hill, Capitol Hill. Washington,
Capitol Hill, not just any hill, the hill. The one.
Indeed.
Oh man, I love it. Okay, I love it. They say send her to the hill and not just Rappoon Hill, the hill, Capitol Hill, okay? All caps for sure. So tell me, what are some of the points that you're going into this race with? Do you have, certain things that you already know? These are what you want to tackle head on first, if and or when this opportunity presents itself for you to be that individual for us.
I want to readdress, for me, the first thing, the great equalizer is our healthcare system. As you know, we always complain about Wang Louis, complain about Roy Snyder, and I don't think people really understand the complexity and the dimensions of the issue. So you have something called the Tax Equity and Fiscal Responsibility Act of 1982, right? We call it the TEFRA rebase. The problem that we have in the territory is that the Virgin Islands, along with many other territories, we don't receive open-ended Medicaid funding.
Right.
So Congress places this very hard ceiling or cap on how much money that we can receive each year. So once that cap is reached for that Medicaid funding, then the local government has to cover the cost. So the problem is when we say rebase is the formula for which this territory, how the federal government determines what our federal Medicaid funding cap is. The problem that we have, Anika, is that the formula is based on these very, very old spending levels from decades ago.
Oh.
So the cap has been artificially low, while healthcare costs continue to increase dramatically. So often in a territory, we run out of federal Medicaid funding very early. So I give you this whole lecture to say that for us in the Virgin Islands, it matters because our TEFRA rebase formula is very, very low and very, very old. So because you don't get an adequate amount of reimbursement from the federal government,
right,
the hospitals continue to function at a deficit.
Oh my God.
So when you have a hospital right now that has to treat everybody, the insured, the uninsured, the gunshot victim that coming in from the street that don't have no job and working in insurance.
Right.
We treat them, we spend all this money on them. We never get reimbursed because they have no insurance, right? It costs all this money. And our both hospitals accumulate bad debt. It's called uncompensated care. So in that regard, one of the things I want to do in Congress is actually address the healthcare issue by saying, listen, let's go back and look at the TEFRA rebase, look at the MFP funding that we have, our cap, and we need to get our fair share of that reimbursement so we can actually fund our hospitals.
Right.
So Wang Louis and Snyder don't continue to function on this low territorial budget. And that would allow us more stability in the hospitals and a greater ability to cover residents under Medicaid. And that's a federal issue that ties directly to the healthcare system.
Okay.
So that's one of the first things I actually really, really want to address, for us to actually remove the Medicaid cap entirely and to rebase the TEFRA formula to reflect modern healthcare costs. And then to work with the State Department because we do have a shortage of doctors in the territory. And back in the day, my mom was given a green card because we had a shortage of teachers, right? We have these Filipino teachers that are in. We have them from Jamaica, and they came into the J1 visa program.
Right.
I think that we need to work with the State Department to actually see if we could use that very same visa program to bring in more doctors or to push for loan reimbursement for our local students that are away right now in medical school.
Right.
Give them an incentive to come back home.
Oh.
So the first thing that I would actually want to tackle is really the healthcare system.
Okay.
And then two, I want to actually revisit the ROM cover over. That's another thing for the retirement system.
Okay.
So that's a whole different explanation. But on the healthcare side too, also I want to work with, because the role of the delegate is not really, it's not finite. It's not really defined per se in the Organic Act. The role is very flexible, so it allows me time and the ability to actually influence other things.
Okay.
I want to work with some of the senior healthcare centers because we do need two or three decent senior centers in the Virgin Islands, whether it's assisted living, full-time. We have an increase in those in Alzheimer's, cancer, these other, illnesses that we're seeing. And we really need a solid healthcare system. And when I say the healthcare system, that would include
Mental
assisted
health.
living facilities for seniors as well. Yes, I
Mm-hmm.
want to work with some company across the state,
Yeah.
do some research, look at giving them tax breaks so they could really come to the territory and invest in more senior healthcare centers as well.
Right. I love that. You seem to have your priorities in order because we definitely in a crisis where healthcare is concerned throughout the territory, not just in one area, one island, or in just one avenue. I love that you mentioned, our elderly as well too. And one thing I would love to see at the forefront of everybody's agendas is the mental health crisis that we have here as well too, because I love what you mentioned with we're unable to clear these deficits through the healthcare system because a lot of people have to come in and they have to get the care, and then the care is not compensated for. A lot of that we can probably attribute to the fact that there's a growing number of people that are putting their mentally ill family members, or they may be unhoused or unkept, and they send them down here. I saw a woman actually commenting on one of our local forums and saying, well, this is my son and I sent him there because at least I know he won't freeze to death. So this is a real thing. And the word is spreading like
It is.
popcorn. It's a real thing. And I can only imagine how that drives up the costs as well too, not just for, the high cost of living, but also for, these people have medical needs, mental health needs, and we are noticing them because we notice the new faces in our community all the time. We speak about it online. I see the comments, the forums, the pages, all of the good stuff. So, definitely. But if we're gonna be that place that America wants to send, those who can't care for themselves, then they need to send the money for them too, because I mean, you can't take from an empty bucket. So I love that it's being addressed and you're looking at the different areas as well too. Anything else specifically you want to add to that?
The retirement system, a big thing that we discussed actually in the Senate, we passed the SPV funding to save the system, which is the rum cover over revenue. We took all of the funds that we received from our rum companies, Diageo, Fusion Rum, and we took some money and we pledged the money to the retirement system. The difficulty that we have is that the rate that the federal government reimburses us for our rum was $10.50 back in the day. I see that my opponent and the President Congresswoman has pushed for a permanent rum cover over of $13.25. My issue is that the territory is locked into a permanent rum cover over, so we generate all this money from our rum sales.
Yes.
And the federal government remits that money back to the territory. So roughly we receive about $245 million a year, between $225 million a year. And we've pledged all of those funds to save the retirement system for the next 30 years. The dilemma that I have and the problem that I have with what we did previously in Congress is that you shouldn't lock a territory into a permanent rate, right? With inflation and it's called the time value of money and everything in economics, the market fluctuates. So I want to go back and revisit that amount to a percentage. So whether or not the market moves, the territory is going to already receive their fair share because you're going to collect a percentage. So even if like rum sales dramatically increase one day, you're still going to be stuck at $13.25 permanently.
Right.
We need to actually move. If rum sales increase, then that percentage that we're going to get after rum sale is going to be what we receive, like a sales tax. Your sales tax is always a percentage. It is not a $1 per sale, right? So in order for us to actually adjust the retirement system, we have to take a greater look at the rum cover over. And of course, the Constitution, we in the Senate, I moved legislation for a sixth convention because a lot of our issues are tied with the fact that we have no Constitution. We have an Organic Act drafted in 1954 by Congress, revised. We have a lot of issues. It limits our political maturity in us getting things done. So when this convention locally is done with their Constitution, it would be my duty in Congress to actually shepherd that document through Congress so we could finally have a Constitution. And of course, really work on securing more federal dollars to really modernize this power grid. I think all of us could relate to the Wappa scenario
Lot of mercy. It is time.
Yeah, so
Yes.
yeah, we need greater transparency between those federal dollars, what we actually do with the federal dollars at WAPA, how we build our ports, our ferry systems, um, shipping reforms as well, right? Because right now we look at when we have to mail to the territory, sometimes it's international rates. In some cases, the post office system, your mail going to Puerto Rico and sitting in Puerto Rico for days, you can't find your meds.
Man, wait, you
And
hit a
that
nerve.
affects,
Definitely hit a nerve with that one because what is going on in Catano PR? I need to know. I need somebody to take a trip real quick
yeah.
and find out. Oh man.
Yeah, so those are and those are the lived realities of Virgin Islanders, and of course, these issues differ from island to island. St. John, I know for St. John specifically, I'm going to have to really talk about the national park and the national park's influence on St. John, because the national park is accumulating more and more land, driving up the cost of property taxes. St. John's are priced out of their land.
Right.
And it's really turned into like a scrub island where St. John's report to St. John to work and then go back to St. Thomas to live because you can't afford to live on St. John. So I know that I definitely have to have a serious conversation with the National Park Service and the treatment of St. Jonian. So the issues and the things I want to address really differ island to island. So I could talk all day about the platform and politics and policy, but in a nutshell, that's some of the critical areas I want to address. And even going back to MAP, the services that say a patient has deaf, right? So that you are legally deaf in the States. You receive all these different resources to get hearing aid, to government assistance. Whatever illness that you have, MAP is there to assist you with whatever device that you need. But when you move to the territory, those options, they stop.
Yes.
So
Yes.
you have people that have issues, may have seizures, may, have different ailments.
Right.
And because you relocate to the territory and we're not included in those programs,
correct.
then we have this large population that really doesn't have the ability to seek that level of help. So I want to advocate for the territory and say, listen, we are a part of the U.S., and we should be included in these programs.
Absolutely.
Well.
I love that you mentioned that because I have a few family members over the years because their health was failing or they were dealing with, either kidney disease and different things like that, that wanted to come home. Because one thing about it, when life catches up to you in the form of your body, the first people you want to be around are your core, your family, your source. You want to eat the foods that you grew up on. You want to smell the air. You want to be in the places that you're most familiar with. And it's so difficult just because you really, for some of them, it's not a choice. It's not an option at all. And it could actually lead to their demise that much more quickly. But this is where they would rather be. And it's so hard and disheartening to see that, hey, well, we have to do this and we have to do that, even though we are sons and daughters of the soil and we want to be home because of the way things are run and because of the things that are not considered or enforced at home. That's just not an option for real-time Virgin Islands in this time. So I love that you brought that up. That's something very near and dear to my heart.
Yeah, because people want to, like you said, quality of life. You're already struggling, you have an ailment, and then to be removed from your support system, your base, because you have to relocate to the 50 states. Even with cancer, the fact that we don't have a cancer center up with a very high cancer rate, probably tied to the refinery. Because St. Croix has a very high cancer rate. So healthcare is really, really a problem. And when you look at the polls, when you ask people, what's the biggest issue that you really want to see addressed in the upcoming election, they talk about healthcare. So
that. Healthcare and education, big on my list. Big on my list. So I'm loving it. So tell me, how has it been so far? I know we're kind of just now really amping up and getting into the real political arena of things. What can we look forward to from your, I want to say your campaign, if I'm using the right terminology?
have a young campaign. If you look at it, they're very modern. As you see this morning, they had a whole song for you
Uh-huh.
today.
Listen,
They're
hold,
energized.
man, I gotta ring the bell on that because I am thoroughly impressed, okay? And for those who were listening from top to bottom, from the beginning, that is what the little ruckus was about. We were trying to figure, I did not know we had an intro to play. So that's kind of what she was coming down the hallway saying, no, wait, don't start yet. So we had just introduced you and I was holding my chest like, why touch? Oh my God. But yes, it was because your team was adamant about making sure your representation stuck in the way that it intended it to be. And why not? Because and you know what? I can pull it in so that they could hear it again. For those that missed it, I want to make sure that they hear it again because this is what it looks like when you're taking yourself seriously. And the world is only going to take you as seriously as you take yourself. All right? So let's hear it.
Send her to the hill, to the hill. Are you ready?
Oh, yes. Are you ready? Virgin Islands, are you ready? Talk to me, St. Thomas, St. John, St. Croix. Hey, Water Island. And all the James, them. The big ones, the little ones, all of them. Hustle Island, all of them. So, yes, I got to say, your team definitely doing the work. And I love that it's modern, it's young, it's innovative. You know, you're thinking outside the box and pulling out all the stops.
We want to excite people about politics because so often, right now we are in a dark time, right? We covered by the whole Epstein scandal in the territory that has made national news.
That's right.
So many people are involved. He had this empire of just it's just insane. And then you're watching the indictments of former commissioners and, aides to the government over the Janet Roaching wood, destroying of the wood in one direction. Just it's just so much things happening in the political environment right now that can lead to a level of apathy.
Mm-hmm.
And people really actually being disenchanted with the system, and we don't want that. So our job here now is to just energize it, make politics relevant. Let people understand that politics does affect you on a daily basis when you can't get your MAP, your government assistance, your WIC, your healthcare system, your funding for your schools, the roads got potholes, they're going to lights on the road. I mean, all of that is impacted by policy, right? So the campaign is really, really focused on making politics relevant. We're educating along the way.
Right.
Telling you what the role of a delegate is, what we could do for you, what we want to do for you, our hopes and our dreams. And it's a really people-centered campaign. And also, my leadership. I stand on a very good record. I serve in the Senate. I serve as the only independent in an all-democratic majority.
Hey.
So I am definitely able to work with people who may not be like-minded, get uncommon people to attain common results. I was able to walk across the aisle with who would be my opponents. We were able to get things done.
Right.
I had some impactful legislations, the WAPA bill, the Division of Festivals, the Women, Children, and Families Act, the State Apprenticeship Bill, the Toxic Sunscreen Ban. The list goes on, and I was very responsive as well to the needs of the Virgin Islands. So, I had a staff that was responsive. Thank you to my staff. I was only as good as my staff.
Hey.
So we want to actually take that energy that we had in the Senate to amplify it more, be more people-focused, and take off from there. And while I'm talking, actually, let me acknowledge that it's Women's History Month.
Hey, it sure is. That's right.
Yeah, so in our history, we honor our queens, right? Our 4 queens for the Fireborn, Queen Blefou. In 1733, we have Elena Christian, Juanita Gardine, Edith Williams, Ruby Rose. We've had our history is not patriarchal. There are a lot of powerful women. So I want to thank those heroes, our ancestors that came before us, and actually to the everyday working woman who has actually probably retired, paid their dues, or still paying their dues, waking up every day raising those kids, and just doing it without all of the hoopla. So Thank you. Thank you to the women of this territory.
Oh, man.
And of course, it's also VI History Month this
That's
month
right.
as well.
That's right. That's right.
So it is March 31st.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so just celebrate all things Virgin Islands. You're playing pressure this morning. We have all these local heroes, Timothy Ran. We have, Marvelous, the Bram music movement.
You don't know.
So
You don't
I
know.
want to actually acknowledge the greatness of the Virgin Islands this month as well.
Girl, you said a whole mouthful right there, and it just shows how much you really for the culture, okay? That's what I'm talking about. Guys, we need great representation, so do your work, pay attention, and always know who is really out there putting in the work for all of us. Because it's not you, VI. It's not me, VI. It's we, VIWE, baby. And don't forget our VI all the way. Anybody you want to shout out, any information you want to share with our listening audience so that they know how to find you?
Yeah, we have, we still, we're still running up our volunteers, so you can sign up to volunteer at Sarauw, www.sarowforcongress.com. Mm-hmm. My last name is always spelled incorrectly, so it will be www.sarauw for Congress, FOR, Congress.com. We have a soup sale coming up in St. John this weekend on the 14th.
Mm-hmm.
The 14th is this weekend, right?
Pot bubbling, that's right,
Yeah,
Saturday,
the
that's right.
14th.
Mm-hmm. Big beating
we have that
movements,
coming up,
so I might come for some soup. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yes. So St. John is coming together. They have a soup sale. St. Croix should be having a Caribbean breakfast sale, and so will St. Thomas.
Hey.
You could always donate on the website as well.
Mm-hmm.
We need money to run a campaign, right? A territorial campaign.
That's right.
So we just really, out here doing the Lord's work, hitting the ground, engaging, listening to people, and trying to go to the hills.
Oh, man, guys, I couldn't have said it any better myself at all, okay? You heard it here first.
And register to vote.
Wait! Say it again because it definitely sitting in the back. Say it one more time.
No, we have to register. Going on Facebook is not enough. Going on TikTok. We're the generation that goes on TikTok, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram to complain, and it's easy to click like and that. But march your behind to the Board of Elections and register to vote. People die for the right to vote. And people don't remember that since it's Dry History Month, that we literally got the right to become self-governing in 1970. That was yesterday.
Yes,
so for much
that
of
day.
my father's life,
that's right.
He had no say. We had appointed governors, we had naval governors, we had municipal councils. We
That's
got
right.
the right to become self-governing in 1970.
That's
We are a young
right.
democracy. People, G. Hamilton Jackson and J. Antonio Jarvis, all these people got up. I was like, listen,
Man.
we have the ability to govern ourselves. We're smart enough. We could do this, right? So, I mean, we owe it to our ancestors to go to the Board of Elections and to register to vote, because that's our right that many died for. People
Let's do
died
it.
for the right to vote. And now that we have that free right, we just choose not to exercise our right. I mean, we sit
Exactly.
and you complain about the government. But,
Exactly.
I mean, you get the government you deserve. And my chief of staff always says, if things don't go the way she would say, well, people have to see the full ramifications, the consequences of what they do, right? So if we want a good government, we can't sit on social media and complain all day.
Right.
Put your money where your mouth is. You're paying taxes and become a part of your society by voting.
Listen me. She
And
said
the
it
Caribbean
all there.
breakfast sale is on March 28th. Don't forget.
Don't forget, guys. Oh, man, she said it all. Believe it, all right? And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen,
Send her to the hill.
ay.
To the hill.
Are you ready? I am loving it. Shout out to you, Senator, former Senator, all right? And shout out to your entire team. I love the work that they're doing. Y'all definitely setting the mark really, really high. I'm proud to have had you on the show this morning. Finally, I get to interview former Senator Janelle K. Sarauw. Okay? All right. I got my list checking off one by one. So
Yeah. But just to add on it too, I'm running my own race. I don't believe in a smear campaign. I am
Right.
not going to attack any other candidate. I'm going
Correct.
to run on what I best believe I can do.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that I know that I'm the best fit for the congressional role. My legislative track record has shown it. I have, sat in the chambers. I've had to make decisions under public scrutiny, under the weight of public leadership. I have been
Right.
subject to immense criticism. I've been able to work in and navigate spaces that are very challenging.
Yes.
Being a female in those spaces, being young,
Mm-hmm.
being educated, being a non-Democrat at the time. I'm back in the Democratic Party now, but I know what effective leadership looks like,
Right.
right? Actual leadership versus having a leadership position or title.
Yes.
And I am best suited for the job. My formal education, my lived experiences, my work experience, the fact that I care about the Virgin Islands. I didn't just show up yesterday.
Right.
I was a teacher. I was a coach. I'm a Mokujumbi trainer.
Mm-hmm.
I walk the talk. I engage. I am a part of this community.
That's
and I'm
right.
asking the people, come November, let's start with August 1st in the primaries, right? So I'm asking the Democrats in August to cast their vote for me in the primary election.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we win the primary election, head to know the elections in November and cast their vote for me because I promise I will represent you well. I will make mistakes, but I'll make mistakes trying to do the people's work.
Right.
So I'm asking for anybody that listening and viewing to just send me to the Hill.
That's what I'm talking about. Guys, send her to the hill. That's right. Keep it locked. Guys, and I got to say it again. Thank you so much for coming on. Looking forward to the great work that you're going to continue to do this election and many, 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 many more. Wishing you the absolute best, Senator. It's been a true honor having you on the show.
All right, thank you. And I want to shout out my team too. My team is a hard-working team around the clock, as you can see. Team Sarauw, I love and appreciate you. And to the people of the Virgin Islands, I love you as well. Thank you for having me.
Oh, my goodness. Yes, perfectly said. Send her to the hill. Guys.